What's up, everybody? It's another extra episode of Iron In News. It's me, Reef. I'm here with Care Bear, Collin Radix-Carter.
Hello.
Collin, you brought an extra story this week.
I did.
We
Not
get to
particularly a favorite,
look at this
but
guy who seems like he's really stoned. Like,
oh, yeah, he's gonna be the issue in this story. But yeah, once again, we're gonna talk about our favorite justice, Clarence Thomas,
mm,
and the calls that AOC is making regarding his impeachment.
okay.
So this is an article from Truthout. Once again, we should have her on the show since we use so
Sharon,
many of her articles
Sharon
as
Zhang.
of late. Sharon Zhang. And she reports AOC renews call for Clarence Thomas to be impeached following bombshell report.
Mm,
This degree of corruption is shocking, almost cartoonish. Thomas must be impeached. Yeah, I'm sure it's not any more cartoonish than what her party does. But Sharon writes, calls for conservative Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas to be impeached erupted again today after a bombshell report from ProPublica unveiled ethics violations at a level that experts say has never before been seen within the Supreme Court. According to explosive investigation published by ProPublica this morning, Clarence Thomas has accepted a huge number of lavish vacations from Republican mega donor Collin Crow. That's that white guy that you saw in the thumbnail,
mm.
including a private jet to an island hopping super yacht vacation in Indonesia, complete with a private chef with an estimate worth of over $500,000, and a stay in a billionaire favored locale in the Adirondacks at Crow's invitation only, all expenses paid resort, where painting predicts Thomas smoking cigars with far right court manipulator Leonard Leo. These trips weren't disclosed by the justice despite reporting requirements.
Okay.
This is beyond party or partisanship. This degree of corruption is shocking, almost cartoonish. Thomas must be impeached, AOC said. Barring some dramatic change, this is what Chief Justice John Roberts' court will be known for: rank corruption, erosion of democracy, and the stripping of human rights. Progressive and Democratic groups and commentators also joined the call. If the information in this report is correct, and there is no reason at all to believe that it isn't, and if the point of the United States judiciary is still to neutrally interpret and uphold the law, then it is obvious what should happen next. The House of Representatives must immediately draw articles of impeachment against Justice Clarence Thomas, said Revolving Door Project Executive Director Jeff Hauser in a statement. Rural organizing group No Dem Left Behind has been circulating a petition calling for Thomas to be impeached in response to the revelations. Philadelphia Inquirer opinion columnist Bill Bunch said that forcing an impeachment vote is critical, even if it wouldn't pass. Democrats should force an impeachment vote on Justice Thomas on the House floor, Bunch said. It won't pass, obviously, but put Republicans on the record supporting this level of corruption and make the corrupt judiciary a campaign issue. Similar to presidents.
I'm sorry, what? What are they wanting to do? Like,
what the fuck?
They'd be trying to force that. They're trying to force something, force a vote, huh?
You know, I actually didn't think of that, but oh my god!
I mean, they're literally forcing a vote. They literally said, dude, it won't pass, obviously, but put Republicans on the record supporting this level of corruption and make the corrupt judiciary a campaign issue. What the fuck does that sound like?
Wow. Yep.
Like,
Maybe we should tag Jimmy Dore on this.
Yeah. Okay.
By the way, we should probably clip that out specifically for Twitter.
Specifically,
But
sure.
specifically. Yes, I know I can't say specifically right, and I've seen your comments. Like,
let him
I'm
have
going
it
off of the rails for a
specifically.
second.
You know what
I've
he
seen
means.
some of your comments. I know I can't say words right. Not all the time.
Not all the time. Y'all
But
try
whatever.
learning other languages. Anyway, Samuel
But-
Chase in
and-
1805 for okay. Supreme
Yeah,
Court justice can be
so-
impeached with a simple majority vote and then removed after a trial and conviction by a 2/3 majority of the Senate, almost like getting a bill passed.
Right.
So
Only one Supreme Court justice has ever been impeached, Samuel Chase in 1805, for speaking out against then President Thomas Jefferson. Chase was acquitted by the Senate. Many commentators have also called for Thomas to be investigated. The cries for the kind of independent investigation that the Supreme Court, and only the Supreme Court across the entire government, refuses to perform, said Senator Sheldon Whitehouse. It's not just a disclosed gifts of hospitality, it's an undisclosed company of political operatives, particularly Leonard Leo, the operative who helped the billionaires capture the court, Whitehouse said. All of this needs robust investigation, and it is the Chief Justice's job to make sure that occurs. Demand Justice Executive Director Brian Fallon said in a statement that the Senate cannot let this extraordinary display of corruption and law-breaking go unanswered, per Common Dreams. Senate Democrats cannot force Thomas to resign or give him the impeachment trial that he clearly deserves, but they can hold hearings to further expose Justice Thomas's apparent lawbreaking and the Republican justices' deep ties to far-right donors, Fallon said. Thomas also faces calls to be removed from the High Court after it was revealed last year that his wife, conservative activist Jeannie Thomas, had ties to Donald Trump's thought to enact a coup to overturn the 2020 presidential election. AOC called for Thomas to resign then, citing his failure to recuse himself from matters involving his wife and his failures to disclose income from right-wing organizations. As some commentators pointed out, today's report reveals details potentially also related to Thomas's failure to recuse himself for a 2016 case related to whether high-level government officials can accept gifts, known as McDonald versus United States, in which then Governor of Virginia accepted high-value gifts from a Republican megadonor. The court, including Thomas, unanimously vacated the governor's council of corruption, and commentators noted at the time that the decision carved out a legal precedent to make it almost impossible to convict any but the most bumbling politicians of corruption and bribery, as the New Yorker wrote. The ProPublica investigation will almost certainly spark more calls for Thomas to resign, as the revelations, if true, speak to a concerning level of corruption in the Supreme Court in a time when the court is working to erode civil rights at a rapid pace. So, thoughts? Because I definitely have a couple.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to force a vote over January 6th, pretty much.
Yeah.
Against Clarence Thomas, among other breaking the law of this. I mean, like, lawyers at that level, of course, like, they don't get where they are without corruption. So there's plenty of stuff I'm sure you could go over. It's kind of like Trump, right? There's plenty of stuff you could actually get him for, but they're going to go after the most frivolous of these things. And then if they convict him at all, it's going to be a slap on the wrist. Oh, like, oh, well, he's not going to be a justice. They're going to put someone equally as right-wing and terrible, you know? So.
And again, like, should AOC, you can make the argument whether AOC should do this or not. You can make that argument, yes or no, whatever.
They're using it as an electoral bludgeon for this next election. It's going to be Biden needs to pick up Supreme Court so that the Supreme Court can go back to being lefty dream world when it's still packed with like conservative
But
justices
yeah, it's what if
with a
even if
Congress
it's
that is
still
not going to give them anything.
right, and the Supreme Court is still going to have Republican conservative control, even if
Mm-hmm.
Thomas, you know,
Gets pushed out.
pushed out, which he won't. But
But
it's
they want to
just
force a
funny.
vote on the. Okay.
Yeah, so which is what but Mike's your point. AOC is able or calling to force a vote on this against essentially her party,
Against the
against the
Republican Party. She's willing to
party,
do it against
but
them.
she's not going to force a vote on her
Her
party.
party.
She didn't
Right.
force a vote, against Hakeem Jeffries, coming in as minority leader. She didn't force a vote, obviously, in terms of having Pelosi bring Medicare for All to a floor vote in exchange for her speakership.
Yeah.
But, but this is okay for her to do
It ain't
because
fucking okay. Fuck that.
no, it's not
But
okay. But you
I
know what I
know.
mean? To her, it's okay because it's playing against party lines. She's basically,
Yeah.
kowtowing to her party. And, as she said, this is just a low hanging fruit measure,
Yeah.
in terms of really in the grand scheme of things. Yeah. I mean, we can make the argument like Clarence Thomas is shit. We all know he's been shit. Um, but essentially, in a way, if you're going to do this, I'm sure there are other politicians, especially in our party, that are doing the same shit,
Yeah. Oh,
or
guaranteed.
different. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like
Well,
the hypocrisy there in terms of, okay, you're going to call out the party that you're against on the bullshit that they're doing, and yet you're not going to call out the bullshit that your party is doing. And
yep.
you were essentially elected to go against your party in order to stand for radical change.
They had us the first half. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, incredible. On that note, dude, AOC trying to force a vote. Fabulous. But otherwise, I think that's
As
it.
I said, as I
Sunday.
said, we
Kate
put
Cabello
that.
coming on. How do we miss that? Will do. But yeah, otherwise, stay tuned. We got loads of stuff coming up. Follow indienews.network. You can find our Twitter there at Get Any News. Like and subscribe. Hit that like button. Hit the bell. Share this even. So anything else, Care Bear? I think that's it, right?
No, that's it.
Okay. Well, in that case, labels are bad. Stay independent. Good night, fam.